On today's episode of Ford Racing Nation, we're going to show you how to take your stock rims and make them look aftermarket for $100 using two products, Plasti dip and wheel bands. First thing you need to do, and it's very important, the very first step is to clean your rims properly. The kit comes with 2 alcohol white pads, but this alone is not going to do it. You really need a heavy duty cleaner. So what I did was use Simple Green Max and mixed it 50-50 with what's in here and water. I already pre-washed the rims already, power washed them, got all the brake dust off them, then thoroughly cleaned them with the Simple Green Max. Twice actually. Then I'm going to take a bottle of alcohol. Make sure you get it good and clean. Get rid of all the oil off the rim. I'm going to clean my hands up a bit too, get the oil off. Now it's time to start applying the track. Make sure you got a good cut, clean edge. I do on this side already. So we'll start with that. Work my way around by the air fill and work my way around like so. And when you first stick it on, the very end piece here will actually curve in a little bit. And that's okay, because once you finish all the way around and you start putting the insert, it'll actually draw it back up to the top of the rim. Now they say don't use them on a rounded lip. So for our project, because we do have the rounded lip, I'm actually going to stick it around on the inside of the rim. Now it's not going to give us the full protection that they say is what the kit's designed for. We're going purely for cosmetic. We wanted black rims with a red stripe around it, and this was the best and easiest way to do it. Peel off the corner. It is very finicky here. So peel it back just a little bit, bend it down the other way, and then you can start installing the track. Now how I'm doing it is I'm putting as much pressure up against the lip as possible in order to get it to seat around. And that's very important as you pull back on the red tape. So I go about 2 inches, holding it with my thumb, pulling back on the tape, and it'll automatically stick. Now if you clean your rims well enough, this will be on there permanently. Well, not permanently, but you'll be able to take it off and get the glue off, no problem. But it will be on there until you decide to pry it off. Now you only want to pull off a little bit at a time as you're seating it. You don't want to pull the tape off all at once. Make sure you only pull it off as you need it to work it around. If you find that tape's hard to pull off, just lighten your grip a little bit and it will, or move down a few more inches and it should be okay. And then push it down as you go. Before you get to the end, it's a good time to mark it and cut it. Got the end off, so I don't like the way it looks. Grab the pencil, mark it again. Snips, pull it up. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Oh. Not pushed around. Well, let's use this. Off to the paint shop. Alright, so what I'm using is a respirator because I just don't want to breathe in all this stuff. Okay, now we're going to remove the cue cards off of the brim. So you have to be careful because they will be basically painted a little bit to the rim, especially if you let them dry overnight like I did. So be very careful that they pull right out, and if they don't, you're going to have to cut some of them away. Oh, this is a great rim. Oh, this one's sticking a little bit, so I'm going to take my little razor. And cut it away. Okay. To recap, we laid the wheel bands down first. Make sure they're good and stuck on. Put the insert in. Then we Plasti dip the whole rim. Now we're ready to take off the Plasti dip off of the actual insert to give us our color. Now, two things that I'm going to use is a hobby knife blade. These little things here. They usually work better if you have a handle. I can't seem to find the handle, so we're just going to freehand it with the little razor blade. And also a pair of tweezers. So we cut both sides of the actual, on both sides of the insert, and make sure you get it good, because it will be, if you lay enough coats down, it will be pretty thick. So you want to go around a couple times. I'm starting at the seam where I put the insert in. Peel back a little bit. Get the tweezers. I usually pull about an inch on the Plasti dip and re-grab it. Quick coffee break. and we are done. Perfect. We took the stock rims and we laid down the wheel bands and Plasti dipped them. And the rims came out perfect. Way better than I expected they would have turned out. Even I drove it to Mustang Week. A lot of people complimented on the rims, saying they really liked them, and once they got closer they realized they were stock. And they realized that because of the pony emblem on the center cap. And they looked puzzled at first, and they realized that, yeah, painted them and added a little touch with the wheel bands. Yeah. So a lot of people did ask me how I did it, where I did it, and we obviously showed you the install video. Really simple to do, and they're holding up quite nicely. Now, some parts in the video you may notice that I have slotted rotors on this car, and I did that for a reason. I painted the calipers black, added the slotted rotors to give me the aftermarket brake look. With the slotted rotors, unfortunately, creates a lot of brake dust, and so I'm not really a guy that keeps a lot of things spotless clean. So clean the rims, a little bit of work, but it can be done. We had a lot of brake dust. We took it on the autocross course and kicked up a lot of brake dust on this car. I mean, we put 3,000 miles on it before even attempting to clean it, and it was a little bit of work. I will say that there is some grooves, but using the proper cleaner, spraying it in there and scrubbing it around with a soft brush, it came up pretty good. Alright, so yeah, definitely highly recommend the wheel bands. For the price, you really can't beat it. And another good reason too is why I say aftermarket rims for for $100, the idea. A lot of people who just bought our car like we did, you know, we just spent a ton of money on a car, got to pay car insurance, don't really have a lot of money for modifications. This is something that's easy and simple that anybody can do, and you know, it's cost effective. I mean, if you think about it, the car that you just purchased, you purchased it because it's in good shape. And if it's in good shape, it's got good tires on it. So are you really going to throw those in the garbage or sell them on your local site for cheap just so you can buy aftermarket? I mean, by adding the wheel bands and the Plasti dip for basically $100, you have rims that look aftermarket. They're totally different than what everybody has because they're just your stock rims that you modified. And rolling down the road, nobody's really going to notice the difference, whether you have stock or aftermarket.